Hi everyone. Hello, good afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time you're listening to this. My name is Victoria Udo. I am a law student at the University of Nigeria. I'm a certified arbitrator and mediator, and I am a personal development coach as well as a public speaker. And today I will be beginning and starting the first set of my personal development masterclass. And today we're going to be talking about effective communications, we're going to be talking about proper networking, social media etiquette, and I'm really excited about it because I believe that once you've been able to learn all these things that I will be saying, you'll be able to apply them properly and they will benefit you in the long run. Okay, so let's start with effective communication. Now, when we talk about communication, people question, what are we talking about? Are we referring to how you talk, how you relate with people, how you do things, and how you see things? However, effective communication is how you're able to sell yourself, how you're able to give the best impression of yourself, how you're able to tell people about you, how you're able to show the world who you are. That is exactly what effective communication is all about. So when we talk about communication, we're not just talking about your speech, your manner of tone. All these things are part of it, but it's not just restricted to that. We're talking about your way of dressing. We're talking about the things you do, the way you work, the way your workplace etiquette, the way you relate to people, the way you even write, the way you live, basically communicate and tells another person the kind of person you are. And so it is my intention to help you and guide you to make the proper decisions that would help you effectively communicate with another person. So when we talk about effective communication, there are certain things we have to have at the back of our mind. There are 5 key factors that play a role when we're talking about effective communication. Who is the person sending the message? Who is the receiver? What is the message that is being sent? What is the appropriate channel? And what kind of feedback are you receiving? The sender, the receiver, the message, the channel, and the feedback. Those are the 5 factors that affect effective communication. And once you've been able to master these things, you are on your fair track to succeeding as an effective communicator. Now, who is the sender? The concept of who the sender is and who the receiver is determined by the relationship between these people, Mr. A, Mrs. B, Mr. A, Miss B. Whatever relationship, whatever cordial relationship, whatever romantic relationship, whatever official relationship exists with them determines the kind of message they'll be sending, the channel they'll be using, and the kind of feedback they'll be getting from each other. So if you are a young professional, as this masterclass is targeted to helping young professionals communicate effectively, if you're a young professional and you are looking to communicate with your boss, you're looking to communicate with your co-workers, you need to be able to define the level of relationship you have with these people. For instance, if you're sending a message to your boss, you're not supposed to be sending some kind of messages. I know you understand what I mean. Your messages are supposed to be strictly official, and the manner and the tone in which you send these messages also affect, determine the relationship you have with your boss. If your boss is a very cordial person and someone that, a young person that wants to chill and just be free with his colleagues, there's a manner of tone you use. But if your boss is uptight, you've worked with this person, so you know the kind of relationship and the kind of messages this person will permit. Also, when you're sending a message or when you're talking about relationship, you need to understand that there are certain boundaries you cannot cross as a young professional. It's okay to ask your boss about his kids, his family, how they're faring, but there are certain conversations you shouldn't be having with your boss. It does not show good work etiquette with you. Now, you're talking to your colleague. It could be that the person at the workplace is your superior, your supervisor, but you guys are maybe the same class, person got promoted before you, or person got working in that company before you. The fact that you graduated in the same class with the person, or the person's great grandfather from the village, doesn't give you the rights to speak to the person anyhow. You have to define those grounds, those relationships that exist between you and this person. This is one of the important things you need to know when you're communicating with your colleagues at work. What is the relationship? What is the age gap? Relationship is determined by your working experience, the age gap, the position the person holds, and if you are the dominant or you are the bigger person or the lower person in the particular relationship. Now, when you're referring to cordial relationships between friends, between people in romantic relationships, that is a story for another day, because they themselves know their language and how they should be communicating with themselves. So that being said, we've established that for you to know the tone and the manner of message to send, it depends on the relationship between the sender and the receiver. Now we're talking about the channel. Not everybody understands that not every channel is the appropriate channel for you to send for you to use to send a message. Now there are certain things that you need to have at the back of your mind when you're sending messages. For instance, if there's messages between you and your boss, you shouldn't be calling your boss at all hours or sending text messages in quote, except it's an urgent matter. And so you would be able to see that we'll formulate a timetable now. Let's just have a picture of it. So this is the sender, the receiver, the message, the channel. So if the sender is your boss and he's sending it to you as an employee, the message will be that of commanding or sending you instructions or following up on something, and the appropriate channel would either be your email or your WhatsApp or the office group chats. Most offices make use of things like Google Teams, Microsoft Teams, and things like that, to help them communicate effectively without using the whole official email, especially when it is urgent, because most people don't check their emails all the time. So we've established the workplace one now. This is between an employee now is the sender, sending to the boss and sending a message or follow-up or asking for a leave or something like that. It's the appropriate channel is email, except where you want to place a call for something that is urgent, or where he says call me to receive information on this, where there's a clear instruction for you to call. However, the appropriate channel is an email. Now the relationship between a colleague with colleagues, the message depends on whether the person is your superior or you're on the same level with the person. The appropriate means to use is either text messages, WhatsApp, the office group, or email, because it's still work professional. Now if the person is your cordial friend, friends like best friends and people, classmates that you just chill with during the weekend, you can send a message on WhatsApp, even text messages and the rest. It doesn't affect your general professionalism. But as a young professional, a lot of people make the mistake. We're going to talk about it in social media etiquette when we go further. A lot of people make the mistake and they start sending messages at the wrong time. Please, it shouldn't be done that way. It shouldn't be done that way. You need to take note of all these things so that you don't affect your workplace relationship with your boss or with your employer. Now we're going to talk about the next set of people, or the next part that is very important. Now, having seen that most times effective communication is determined by these 5 factors, and seeing that the factors are determined by other factors, you need to be very conscious of what exactly you're sending out there to the person you're sending it out to. These things are very, very important for you to consider. Another thing that you need to put at the back of your mind is the fact that the end game of effective communication is to have communicated effectively. If you've not been able to pass across the message, then you've done woefully in in trying to communicate. How do you know you have effectively communicated with someone? The person has understood your message. The person did not pick offense as to the channel or the manner in which you asked the message, and the person has given you a proper feedback. So now we're going to talk about public speaking. Public speaking, this is communication on a large scale. Now we're not just talking about workplace relationship or you and your colleague. We're talking about in front of an audience. How would you act as a public speaker? I would say I have done public speaking in 2 years almost, so I'm not so experienced. I have anchored programs, mostly online programs at most, and I think I've had only one physical anchoring of the program, and it was amazing. But to call a person to come, and when I'm referring to public speaking, I'm talking to both anchors and people who are invited to speak. So now we're going to deal with anchors first. If you're a host of a show, a host of a program, and you're called to come and host a particular show or a program, now the manner of your communication, or the manner of, like I said, communication is your dressing and your acting. So your manner of communication is determined on the type of events that you're going to go and host and the dignitary's presence. So you need to know first, is it an entertainment program? Is it a red carpet show? Red carpet show, yes, there are some kind of dresses you can't dress. You can't be going to a red carpet in jean canvas I don't know, or there's some rules, especially for ladies, and how you dress for a red carpet show. So if it's a red carpet show, you know that you will have to be less formal, try to vibe with the people that are going to be attending this red carpet program. If it's a professional talk, for instance, you're called to speak to a group of lawyers or law students about how to excel academically by utilizing opportunities in the legal profession, you don't go there wearing dinner gown. You have to dress a corporate suit or a corporate gown, look good, and know the manner of language you're using, because the manner of language you're using depends on the audience that you are addressing. So as a host, you need to first know, like I said, know the audience that you're going to be addressing. So yes, the audience you're going to be addressing. Try and research on the organizers of the event. There's most organizations that have certain etiquette and certain rules that they live by. And if you contravene these rules or you go against these rules as a person, they will not invite you to come and help them anchor any program again. So you need to help yourself out here. Also, you need to do research on most of the high dignitaries that will be coming. You cannot be addressing a man who has received a lot of awards and professionals. Like me, you go for an event and you see Nelson Mandela, sorry, may so rest in peace. You see people like His Excellency President Buhari, or you see, top people that have attained a lot of things, and you are addressing them as sir. No, it's Your Excellency. So there are people, these titles, you go through the guest list and see whose title is whose name is whose. Don't go and mispronounce someone's name and make them feel bad. Even if it's a name that's difficult to pronounce, try and ask them, the proper pronunciation. Or you go to Google. Google helps you a lot to, see the proper pronunciation for these names. So having said that, after you've done your research on the dignitaries, you pick out a very good dress that matches the occasion. Pick out heels, dress well, look well, do your hair do. Be very simple. You don't have to be very extravagant, except that's like the theme of the program, to be extravagant, but you don't have to, your dressing doesn't have to be too loud. Just very simple corporate, look good. Put on makeup if you're a lady, if you're a guy, dress and shave well, clean up well, appear nice. Your appearance alone makes people want to come and be interviewed by you, want to engage in discussions with you and stuff like that. It speaks a lot about you, so you need to do your best in, putting all these things together. Okay, so now we're going to talk about people that are invited to speak. If you are an upcoming public speaker and you've been getting speaking engagements, you want to communicate with the audience, you want to talk to people, law students, young professionals, entrepreneurs on different areas, your dressing is important. You need to know the location, the place you're going to, the dignitaries, the culture of those people, especially if it's an online event where you have multicultural people. There was a time I hosted a program for the Federation of African Law Students, and the president of the National Bar Association, His Excellency Carlos Moore, was available there. And there was also a time I hosted and I anchored an event for the Federation of African Law Students, and it was a judge from Uganda that was there. I had to do my research, read up the profile of these people. Along the line, you will have to make comments like, Your Excellency, we follow up what you're doing and we are so excited to have you on this platform. If you don't know these things, you would not be able to make the best impression on the guest that you're trying to, introduce or speak to during this time. Now, I'm sorry for the revert. Let's go back to those that are invited to speak. So like I said, practice the culture of these people. And when you're in Rome, you need to act like a Roman. So know if it's a Catholic school you're going to, or a school that doesn't allow trousers, and you're called to come and speak to the young ladies about rape, you cannot go and be wearing trousers. Understand that it's not bad. In fact, you need to show more professionalism in tolerating other people's cultures when it comes to things that are not generalized. So if you're going to a place where they don't allow ladies to just go on their hair like this, you have to cover up and everything, please do so. It's 2 hours, 3 hours of your time there. It's not going to kill you for you to say, oh, I'm not going to attend this event. Except where the place you're invited to come and speak in, you don't align with their cultures, or the cultures will affect your image or the things you believe in or the things you stand for. Then you can say, okay, I'm turning down this position or this opportunity because I don't want to do it. But if it's because of certain cultures that you can give way for, please do so. You're learning in the process and you're able to build your tolerance level for human beings, which is something that is very difficult to do as a young person. So when you get to go there and speak professionally. Don't go and start using slang unnecessarily. Speak professionally. Don't make unnecessary side jokes. Yes, I forgot to mention something. If you're hosting, you need to be very familiar with the dignitaries and understand what exactly you're saying. I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with the Will Smith Chris Rock saga that happened, on stage. You don't want to be in that position. You don't want to have to be sending public apology because you couldn't, hold yourself from making a joke about someone, their dressing, their health condition, and things like that. You want to make people laugh, yes, fine and good. You want to make people have fun at the event, but not at the expense of the emotions of another person. So please take note of that as an upcoming public speaker. Now, how do you start public speaking? Assuming you're interested and you've not, started anything. Attend events, follow up public speakers. The one person that motivates me in public speaking is Mrs. Temi Padre. She was probably known as semi-popular, so I'm so used to calling her that, but she's married now. And she does so well in her job that she's always invited to host events, international events, local events, national events. She's everywhere literally, and she inspires me a lot. So you need to follow people that inspire you, people that will be able to teach you the ropes, people that when you go through their profile, when you go through their LinkedIn pages, you're able to see how they're doing it. You learn one or two things. I think it was from Ms. Timi's post one time that I learned that there are difficulties that public speakers face that they don't even say, with the whole packaging and everything. Sometimes you go to an event and you go and spend more hours than you bargained for, or you go to an event and you find out that, you have to improvise, you just have to be ready for anything that would happen. So all these things you learn by following up people who are already in the train, who are already doing it, and who would help you learn the ropes. And now, for the next part, you need to, excuse me, you need to also understand that you need to read up books on public speaking. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this Dale's book on how to win and make friends. Yeah, I think I've read that book twice or 3 times at most. So try and read that book. It helps you with communication. It helps you with learning how to deal with people, how to tolerate people from different races. Because the truth is that if you're going to be not perfect, but if you're going to be close to perfect when it comes to public speaking, you need to learn to deal with people, how to relate with people, how to understand people, how to tolerate people. All these things are things you need to have at the back of your mind. You need to also attend programs. Watch how the host and how the anchors are organizing it. Watch AMVCA, if that's what your interest is. What's her name? Nancy Sime. Watch them. Ibuka of Big Brother. Watch these people. You see the charisma, the way they carry themselves when they are doing TV hosting and things like that. These are people you need to look out for. You learn, you practice. Practice is very important. I always preach consistency. Consistency doesn't just have to do with you doing it. After you started, practice, keep practicing. Before I was able to speak this bold, it took practice. In my room, my bathroom, I would speak and say, oh, okay, I'm talking to myself. I'm trying to practice something, I'm trying to learn something. You need to speak, you need to practice, you need to try and make the best out of it. Record yourself and listen to yourself. Record yourself and listen to yourself. Now, this is another tip before we round up today's session on effective communication and public speaking skills. You need to observe all the etiquettes as a professional. You need to be able to relate to people well, you need to speak well, you need to mind the language and vocabulary you use at every occasion. You need to put in your best in whatever you're doing. You need to make good use of opportunities that will help you grow in this particular line of public speaking or, TV hosting and the rest. You need to follow up people, mentors that have gone through these things, and you need to do your best. You need to sell yourself well. When you sell yourself, people begin to see that, okay, you're interested in this area, and some mentors will even come up and say, okay, let me help you, let me assist you, let me put you through in what you're supposed to do. All these things will help you develop yourself as a person. And so today we're going to round up our effective communication and public speaking skills. I hope you've learned one thing or two. We're going to continue in our next class on social media etiquette, research publishing, personal development, personal branding, and networking skills. So stay tuned, see this, and learn a lot. Until next time, see you. My name is Victoria Wodo. Have a lovely day and have the best of the day. Bye.